Hey, it's Monday night. I feel like we're on an angle. Are we on an angle? It's Monday night, and that means it's time for Let's Talk About. I'm here with Kim Thompson, who's like an oily guru, and I'm just me. And tonight we are, well, let me ask you a question, okay? What do you call it when you get a whole bunch of people together and then they drink too much, they get annoyed with each other, and then they bring up all the old stuff that they've never been able to resolve that's made them miserable and unhappy for most of their lives?
Family Christmas.
Exactly. Exactly right. Plus throw in the odd weird uncle and you've pretty much got it.
Yeah.
Does that ring bells with you?
Not really, because when we were growing up, we only had my grandma who lived close, so she was the only one who came to Christmas at our house. So.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to say, like, my family Christmases, for most of my life, were pretty good. But as I was saying to Kim before, like, when life gets complicated and you've got step parents and you've got, blended families and you've got all that sort of stuff, there's actually quite a lot of potential for difficulty at Christmas time. So this little baby here could actually be quite helpful, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to us about forgiveness.
All right, so forgiveness is an essential oil blend. So for those of you who haven't been, watching our previous videos, we've actually been doing a whole series on Young Living's essential oil blends, what they're for and how to use them. So we're up to F, and the first one in F is forgiveness. So the thing about forgiveness is that for a lot of us, we carry around a hell of a lot of baggage. I mean, I know for a long time I was really, really angry with my parents, especially my mum, but likewise. Both of them really.
Yeah, likewise.
And at the end of the day, like what you really, the biggest, I guess, light bulb moment for me was that the people who you're angry at and you're having difficulty forgiving, they don't often even realize the only person that's actually affecting is you. It's stopping you from moving on. It's stopping you from growing. It's stopping you from becoming the person that you should be, simply because you carry around this anger. And the thing about anger, or any emotions, is that we actually store them in different parts of our body. And usually we store them in an organ that that vibrates, if you like, at the same frequency as that particular emotion. So when we are angry, we store that in our liver, and you can often see this play out. A lot of angry people have liver issues. So, you don't want to carry around this anger for years and years and years. You want to do something to actually help you forgive. And whether it's an ex-partner, whether it's a parent, whether it's, a friend, someone who's done something to you, they're not out there suffering. Like they're not, like you're.
You wish they were.
I know,
they're not.
But you're the one who's suffering, and so you need to do something about it. I mean, we are creatures who, love to hoard stuff, and we love to hoard our anger and our issues, and we don't like to let go of them. Whereas if you can do some small ritual to help you along the path to forgiveness, it actually does wonders for your personal development and for your self-growth and all of that kind of stuff. So
you can't change the past, and you can't even change what other people have done to you. In fact, you can't even change what you've done to yourself, because it's not always unforgiveness towards other people. Sometimes we hang on to it for ourselves, don't we? And we think, how can I have possibly been so stupid, an idiot? But you're right, that stuff just eats you up from the inside. And the only thing that you can do is help, change that with forgiveness. So either forgiving yourself, forgiving other people. And strangely, even though you're doing the forgiving, sometimes it does actually change other people in the process as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't actually say that you need to forget what they did, like particularly if they did something really bad to you. Maybe you were sexually assaulted as a child, maybe a person cheated on you, or something really, really bad that you find it really extremely difficult to get over. It's not, we're not here to say you should forget that. That's not what this is about
or
at
minimize
all.
the impact of it. Forgiving isn't about saying that what they did was okay or that it doesn't matter.
Forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. You don't
Yeah.
even have to tell them that you've forgiven them. You can block them. You can keep them out of your life.
Yeah.
But forgiveness is for you. It is for
Yeah.
your own personal journey, your growth. You need to do this. And that was the biggest lesson for me. It was interesting. I saw Kylie Bryant put a post on Facebook today, and she talked about how all of the emotional oils are purple. The labels are
Yeah.
purple. And that's so true. Like, you think about release and forgiveness, inner child, all the ones in the feelings kit. But even more so than that, all the emotional oils have purple labels. And I don't know the significance of that.
Yeah.
But in terms of if you want to start using oils, you know, I've talked a lot in the past about oils and their physical benefits. But the greatest untapped resource, really, the tool, it's like your toolkit, your tool belt is the emotional oils, because emotions, if left undealt, they're basically energy in motion. They cause blockages, and if you've got blockages, then you're going to have like physical issues. It's going to manifest, like I talked about the liver and anger and, you know, grief and the lungs and the kidneys, and, you know, all different kinds of emotions manifest in different ways. So that's why it's important to deal with things like forgiveness.
So Gary put this together with an amazing blend of different single oils to make this this blend. So what are some of the oils? Because there's some beauties in here, aren't there?
Yeah, and there's particularly ones that are high in sesquiterpenes, because the thing is, it's like, in terms of forgiveness, like, often, you know, like, I guess it depends what wrong has been done by you, but we often feel it in our heart, and, you know, we're hunched over because we're protecting our heart. If something bad has happened, we protect our heart. But the thing about you know, I guess with forgiveness is that you want to get it inside the limbic system, where we store a lot of our emotional memories. So oils that are good for, you know, the brain are usually high in sesquiterpenes. So we're talking about your sandalwood, your melissa, your rose, frankincense, even rose. You'll notice that rose is in a lot of the emotional blends that Gary created, and the reason for that is that rose is a high frequency oil. It's actually 320 megahertz. That's what it vibrates at. So it uplifts you, it makes you happy. And you can't actually, you know, there's no use having forgiveness if you can't move to a place of happiness, right? Yeah. So he included rose in a lot of the emotional blends to help you make that shift, to move to a more happy place where you can actually do the work and forgive other people. Or, you know, you look at a lot of the emotional blends and you'll find rose. He also put things like Angelica, Palmarosa, Lavender, a lot of calming oils.
Some citruses in there to bring that happiness and joy.
Yeah, used to contain rosewood, and as many of you have heard me say in the past, Young Living doesn't use rosewood anymore because rosewood was becoming extinct. So instead they swapped it out and put in oils like coriander. But it's also got Ylang, Jasmine, Helichrysum, Roman chamomile is another calming oil. Geranium, did I say that? Bergamot.
Yep.
It's a massive amount of oils in forgiveness.
So I'm really annoyed. I'm totally pissed off. I've got this, I'm going forgiveness. The last thing I feel like doing is forgiving this person because they've absolutely peed me off. What do I do? Throw the bottle at them. No?
It's really funny because often people who find it hard to forgive actually don't like the smell of this when they start using it. And over time, you begin to like it as you start to do the work, okay? Yeah. So you'll notice that when we talk about the feelings kit, we usually talk about using it for 30 days straight. And forgiveness is one of the oils that you use in it. You can also use it by itself if forgiveness is the only, you know, the only sort of work that you really need to do in the feelings kit. Just use forgiveness. And Gary actually suggested either putting it in your belly button, because your belly button actually has all these nerve endings that shoot off in all different directions. You think about when your umbilical cord was connected to your belly button, and it was like your food source and all of the Kerry said it smells amazing. You mustn't have any forgiveness work to do, Kerry. So it's like all the center of all these nerve endings kind of end in your belly button. So just by putting a drop in there. But some people, when they first start using forgiveness, they actually can't stand the smell of it. They don't like it. So even just opening the bottle to begin with, that can be a start. If your partner, he's not into the woo-woo hippie oil stuff, but you realize that he needs to do some work when it comes to forgiveness. Maybe he can't forgive his family
Sneak up
members.
behind him.
Well, I was going to say diffuse or put it in the washing, okay? Start adding it to your washing liquid and get him exposed to forgiveness oil that way. But Gary used to talk about putting it on your belly, and you'll have heard us talk, particularly on our Digest video, where we talked about doing the belly rub and how if you want to get it moving, moving is clockwise and anti-clockwise is to back it up. Gary used to talk about pooping out your emotions, right? Yeah. So if you want to poop out your anger and poop out your emotions, then start using it it's clockwise motion to get it moving, because you think about the way the clock goes. So we're probably going to be backwards because that's how Facebook works. But yeah, clockwise is going to help you to poop out your emotions. So.
Holly asked, what does it smell like? What would you say? What's the overriding scent there?
I reckon it's sort of floral and citrus. They're the main ones that you can smell in it.
I'm getting a bit of Helichrysum there too. Do you get that?
Not really. Actually smells like powder. Something that, like a powder, I don't know, maybe a powder that my grandma used to wear or something, but not neroli, like I've talked before about 4711. Yeah. But it's actually really nice. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. And I know Kerry said she loves it as well, so it's really nice. Anyway, that's about it.
Yeah. As Kim said, if you are feeling angry and you know that you're hanging on to unforgiveness, then the one thing that I'd say is don't wait until you feel like forgiving the other person. Because the thing about all this stuff is if you wait for your emotions then it's never going to happen. But if you take action first, then you actually find that your emotions follow behind the actions that you take. So, and if that's as simple as just opening this up, smelling it, rubbing some on your belly, then that's an action that you've taken and which has said, do you know what, I want to forgive, even if you don't feel like it.
And the other thing that I just want to highlight with all the emotional oils, and I've talked about this before, is adding an affirmation and even adding music. Yep. And it's kind of like Pavlov's dog. I don't know if you remember at school how they talked about Pavlov's dog. And Pavlov used to feed the dogs and ring a bell, and feed the dogs and ring a bell. And then eventually he just started ringing the bell and not feeding the dogs, and the dogs would still salivate, right? That's what happens with oils. If you start doing the affirmation, so with forgiveness, it might be something like, I forgive those who have done wrong against me, or I forgive myself. Because as Jeremy said before, we often beat ourselves up. Find a song that lifts you up so that whenever you hear that song, your brain, the Pavlov's dog thing, you associate the forgiveness. As I said, the forgiveness oil goes deep into your limbic system and helps shift those emotional baggage and that crap that we're carrying around. So put the affirmations on your mirror in your bathroom or somewhere where you're going to see it every day, and make sure that you smell the forgiveness oil at the same time as reading the affirmations, and have a song. So if you have difficulty forgiving yourself, maybe you think you're a bad parent, I didn't do, today I yelled at my kids and I wasn't there for them, I was on my phone, sounds like this is me, by the way.
This is like confession time.
Whatever it is that you find it difficult to forgive yourself, find a song as well, an uplifting song. So for me, it's Fight Song. I know that sounds funny, but that's my get up and go song. And the other one that I play when I find it difficult to forgive is Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. And I associate that with forgiveness oil as well, because if you've been in a situation where you're kicking yourself that you did something wrong or something that you wish, you regretted, shake it off, and a bit of forgiveness oil and some affirmations, and seriously, it is the best.
So heading towards Christmas, maybe order a litre if your family is one of those families.
Diffuse it at the Christmas dinner, with your family, with your workmates. Yep. Maybe you did something wrong at the Christmas party and you're having difficulty forgiving yourself. Not me. Never.
Alrighty.
We will see you next week.
Yep, we love meeting with you every week. It's good fun, and there's always something good to share. So let us know down in the comments below. Throwing it down.
Hold it up.
Yep. Let us know in the comments below what this means to you, and we always love to get your feedback.
Look, it matches my clothes.
It does. That's very cute. Alrighty, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.